So, how does a father want himself to be perceived in the eyes of his son? And I want to address a common mistake and misconception on this subject. Some fathers, some parents may think that they need to be the perfect parent. If the child is going to listen to me, I have to be the perfect one. I have to be doing everything proper, and therefore my child is going to believe that, he has to be like me. And it's negative on two accounts to demand that type of perfection. First of all, we're not. We're just not. We're not perfect, and therefore it's just not emes. And second of all, we don't want the child to demand that of himself. We don't want to develop children where if they didn't get it perfect, they feel bad about themselves or they feel bad in general. The truth is these two reasons tie into each other. The way the Alter Rebbe explains in Tanya is that being that we were created Beinonim, to struggle, to work, and that's the Tainuk the Eibishter gets, we have to appreciate every step of the way, every time we overcome a challenge. And we have to appreciate our imperfection. And therefore, if we portray ourselves as perfect, one of the two. Either side, we're not emistic, and in addition, the child may buy into it, and then that's even worse. He'll always be beating himself over the fact that he's not perfect. And therefore, the real image that we have to make sure our child gets is that we're working on ourselves. And if you portray that image to your son, and I portray that image to my son, that nobody's perfect, this is what I'm focusing on, and right now this is what you need to be focused on in your history, in your life challenges, then our child will say, one second, this is Tati's working on, this is what I need to work on. And it's fine if he makes a mistake. It's fine because he'll be able to overcome it. And it's inevitable that a child's going to see you making a mistake. A child is going to see you slack off if you're human. Then if you're the one being described by the Alter Rebbe and Tanya. And therefore, you have to give the message you want to give is you're working on yourself. You don't need to tell the child he's not your mashpia. You don't need to tell him what you're working on. But it's fine to tell a child, I'm working on getting up for Seder Chassidus or being on time for the minyan, and it's hard for me right now. This is your challenge, and this is your avodah, because the way the Torah set it up, I'm the parent. You don't need to give him the whole ishtalshus, but that's the way you have to be very confident in the fact that the Eibishter gave you the achrayus and the meil the koiches to be the father, and tell him this is your focus now. This is your focus now. I want to say on a personal note, in Cheder we have standards in school. Who we're catering to, right? We're not going to take parents that are looking for a different product, okay? And we're going to tell and what happens if we're going to tell the children that according to Shittas at Tzemach Tzedek, touching the beard is a real problem. It's a problem of Loisashkas Pasuk, and the way the Rebbe writes in a letter that according to the Rambam, it's even infringing on Avodah Zarah, Avizrayu, so you have to go on with serious nefesh. What do I do if a father without a beard wants the Chinuch of Bar Menachem? What do I do? And the emes is I'm very upfront. You should know. Your son will have no issue accepting the fact that you don't have a beard if you're growing. If you tell him that's not where I'm holding it. I'm working on Baal Tshuva and he's going to get there at some point. That's fine. A child can handle and he can take what his teacher is saying, and it's not a stira to reality, the fact that his father doesn't have a beard, because my father's going to get there. No one's perfect. Not the Malam is not either perfect. He has to come across Kamal Chashem Tzvakas. He has to make it simpler for his Talmidim. But in Indian, Masha Inkin, if a father comes across as perfect, and this is the way it has to be, and then he's told something else, or the child sees something else, which all of these are inevitable, it's going to be a real contradiction in his life and real friction. And then he's going to have to reconcile how his father and what he sees and how everybody fits into one picture, because I see this must be and that must be, and that creates real shake-up in a child's world. So on one foot, the Nakuda is we only need to make sure our children know it's a life of avodah. We have avodah, and the child can see the emes. He sees if you're working on yourself, Doesn't matter on what you're working on. He can take from you a demand as well, not just suggesting this is his avodah. Saying the emes, this is your avodah now. I'm telling you, Torah says this is your inyan right now.